All right, I'm here with an updated look at my Nintendo Switch collection that I do at the end of the year, every year, for more modern consoles. I'll be doing a PlayStation 4 one as well for the end of this year. But this week is Nintendo Switch. I recently did a What's on My Nintendo Switch video going over the downloadable games I have on there, so feel free to check that out. I'll put that up in the cards up top, and I go over some games that I have digitally there. So if I'm missing a game that might have been physically released later, that's odds are where it is. So check that video out. But I really like the Nintendo Switch. I think it's a good system. It's not without its problems, of course, but I really feel like it's such a big step up from the Wii U. It has solid third-party support, which I think is really good, and a lot of really interesting stuff coming to it. I feel like Nintendo, for the most part, I know they're a little bit of a sparse release schedule sometimes, but I feel like they're really firing on all cylinders and putting out some of the best stuff they've put out in a while. So I'll get into my collection here. If there's any games that you notice that I may be missing or that I haven't played yet, because I haven't played every single game in my collection. A lot of times I buy stuff on sale because it's a good deal and I plan on playing it later. But if there's anything you have any recommendations, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. But I'll get into it now with my first game here. This is AI the Somnium Files. This is an excellent game. Highly recommended. If it's going to stand up or not, that's a different thing. But this is an excellent game. This is, I can't call it a visual novel because it's not. It's an adventure game. It's a lot of dialogue, but it has puzzle elements and it has all kinds of different things and different endings and everything. So all of the dialogue is voiced and it's really good voice acting. Really awesome game. The story's pretty crazy, pretty incredible. Really enjoyed my time with this one. It's also available on PC and on PS4. The Switch version seems to be on par with either of them, but highly recommended wherever you play this one. It's excellent. Spike Chunsoft definitely knows their stuff with adventure games and stuff like that, especially coming off of Danganronpa. And this is from the writer, director of Virtue's Last Reward 999 with the series Zero Escape. So if you like those, you'll probably like this. He also did like Ever 17, like actual visual novels back in the day as well. So this one's sealed. Animal Crossing New Horizons. I actually bought this one digitally just so I could have it always on my Switch and just have easy access. But since I'm a collector as well, I picked up a physical copy. So, something about it fooling his money, I guess. But I really like this game a lot. I feel like I've definitely dropped off on it since probably June. But I feel like I played it nonstop. I have over 140 hours, I think, in this game. I played it like nonstop when it first came out just because, there's not much to do at that point in my life. I think a lot of people are the same way. But I feel like that's the biggest problem is that Animal Crossing is definitely meant to be played, 20, 30 minutes every day. Not, I think I put in 50 hours in the first week it came out, or the first 10 days it came out it was. So definitely not intended for that, but still had a great time. I still check in on it. I just did like the Thanksgiving event and everything. So I'm still having fun with it, still checking in on it, just not as much because I feel like I've done a lot of the stuff that I'd want to do. But the updates they've been supporting it with have been really good. So interested to see where they're going to go with it moving forward. ARMS. I really liked this one. It's a hard sell at $60, even with the extra content they added. I think it really could benefit from some kind of story mode, especially since it has like a lot of lore for some reason. But for what it is, I think it's great. Great amount of fun. I definitely, if you can get this one for probably closer to 30, I would go for it. I really like the character designs. I really like the gameplay's fun. That's kind of the more 3D, almost boxing-like fighting game. A lot of fun. But they still sell it for $60. This game's over 3 years old, almost 3.5 years old, and they're still selling it for $60. Don't know if I can recommend it at that price anymore, but highly recommended if you can get it cheaper. Astral Chain. This one's on my pile of shame because I really enjoyed this one, actually. I thought this game was great, but I never finished it. So I'd like to go back and just restart it and replay it again because everything about this game I thought's great. This is Platinum Games and published by Nintendo, and it is a great time. Really, really cool. I think it's probably graphically the best game on the Switch. The art style is definitely pretty striking, and it looks really nice as well. But really cool game. I know it sold really well, so hopefully we'll see more from it in the future. This one is still sealed as well. This is Atelier Ryza, Ever Darkness in the Secret Hideout. So I kind of make fun of the Atelier games because for a while I've never played any of them, so I guess I can't judge too much. But for a while, it just felt like they were cranking these games out. It felt like every other month there was like some kind of new Atelier game coming out. Like, is this some guy like in a shed or something cranking these games out? Be like, all right, I got Atelier Sophia 47 or whatever coming out. Everyone play it, please. I just made this one. A little bit ridiculous with the release schedule, but I gotta say, I heard really good things about this game, and this is actually pretty hard to come by. I think it's becoming easier now. Every once in a while, it'll pop up on Amazon for $40, but I've heard really good things about this game, so I would like to give it a go eventually. It feels like they've kind of done, like, revitalized the the series in a way. Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. So this is a pretty cool fighting game. It is a crossover game, as the name implies, between Persona 4 Arena, Ruby, which is like that Rooster Teeth show. I don't know much about it. Under Night In Birth, I think, and just regular Blaze Blue, I believe. Am I wrong? I don't know. I'm pretty stupid, so I don't know. But I bought this one because I like Persona 4 a lot. I'm a huge Persona fan. I really like Persona 4 Arena, and I really feel like ArcSys is like top of their game with fighting games. I think they're really stellar. I'm pretty much a layman when it comes to fighting games. I don't, I'm not proficient by any means, but I can tell that what ArcSys is putting out is real quality, and I can really appreciate that. And yeah, this one's good. Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda. So I collect all the Zelda games, so I had to get this one physically. But I really like the music of this game. It's phenomenal. But I just don't really like roguelike gameplay. So this is like a roguelike where you go, it looks a lot like A Link to the Past, and you go around, and your movements are all, based on rhythm of the song. It's a really cool idea. I mean, that's what the original Crypt of the Necrodancer was, but I just can't get into the gameplay, so I really recommend the soundtrack, but if that doesn't, if you don't think that would click with you, I wouldn't probably recommend the gameplay. Next we got here, Catherine Fullbody. I picked up this port just because I'm really a huge fan of this game. And this port's good. I played a good bit of it, and I thought it was a really good port, really well done. I definitely recommend this game wherever you get it. It's on PS4 as well. This is the enhanced version of the original game from 2011. This is developed by the P Studio, who does the Persona series. This was between 4 and 5, and you can definitely see a lot of Catherine in Persona 5, and you can definitely see that it's like almost like a starting point for Persona 5. And I definitely recommend this. I feel like this was kind of a test to see if they want to put Persona 5 on Switch, because it's a very similar game in art style wise, and not in much else. This is a puzzle game, almost like Cubert, and it's tough as nails. It can get tough as nails. It's really good. There's nothing like this game out there, really, because it's also story based. It's also kind of relationship based. Really awesome game. Highly recommended. Collection of Mana. I got this one on sale. I haven't touched it yet. This is a mana collection with the original Final Fantasy Adventure, which was Seiken Densetsu 1, Seiken Densetsu 2, which we got as Secret of Mana, and then Seiken Densetsu 3. I almost got through all three of them without messing it up. Seiken Densetsu 3, which is, they call it Trials of Mana. This is the first time this was ever localized and released, properly in America and the West in English. Which is really cool. They also did a remake, which I have not got or anything, but The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. It's cool. It's on Switch. I feel like it's still like $60. I think they ask for it. But I tried with Skyrim. I didn't, play it. That was the first time I ever tried playing it, and I can see why people would like it, but I just feel like there's probably other things I'd rather be playing. I mean, it's a good game, I can tell, but there's other things I'd rather be playing. So that's kind of where it ended. Fire Emblem Three Houses. This is like a top 3 Switch game for me. I think this game's excellent. It definitely has problems. I think like it's kind of ugly. The graphically it's not very good. It's developed by Koei Tecmo mostly, so they have this weird thing for a while, and they're like no anti-aliasing on this games. I don't know what was up with that. You can look at like Persona 5 Scramble, and that game has like no anti-aliasing. It looks really jagged, really kind of weird looking. Graphically, this game's not great, but it's really cool. It's just the new stuff they've added. I mean, it's like kind of incredible, like all the new social aspects they've added and like the kind of hub area that they added. It's really great. I really think that we'll talk more about some Koei Tecmo games that they developed for Nintendo. I really think that this is like a really important partnership for Nintendo, and I think they're going to keep going forward with it. And I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think they'll buy Koei Tecmo outright, but I would see them maybe buying like, stake in them. I think it could happen. Although that's not really ever been Nintendo's thing. They always kind of, they've been working for like Intelligent Systems and HAL almost exclusively for years. And those guys aren't owned by Nintendo. They're not first party, but I guess it's like a why buy the milk if you can get the cow. Why buy the cow when you could get the milk for free? I messed that up. I don't know. I'm going on. Deadly Premonition Origins. This game is great. So Deadly Premonition, this is a port of that original game from 2010. And it's a game that is by all means terrible, but something about it, like almost everything is pretty bad about it. Although I'd say the story is actually pretty good, but somehow it all comes together to make this kind of incredible game. Like it's a game you have to experience for yourself. I highly recommend it. It's a really interesting mystery game. And it might be a little bit hard to play because, like I said, it's not great, but I don't know. I really feel like even if a lot of aspects of this game are terrible, it all kind of culminates into something that's genuinely great. You can just see there's so much. I mean, it's such a game with so much ambition behind it, with such an impossibly low budget. I mean, it's really impressive. This is from Swery65. I think his name's Hidetake Swearino. I believe is what his name is. He follows me on Twitter, which I find funny. He follows like 70,000 people on Twitter, but he follows me on there. So highly recommended though. I would probably go try to get, this is probably the most accessible version of the game. It goes on sale in the eShop for like $15 pretty frequently. And I think the physical copy only runs you about $40. But I would say, I think by all accounts, the 360 version, the original version, is still the best way to play it. Because every time they ported it, it seems like they kind of introduced new problems to the game. Because I think the game's kind of held together by toothpicks and gum. But this is definitely a better way to play it than like the horrible PC version or the PS3 version. So not too bad. And I picked this one up and I haven't played it yet. I really want to. Deadly Premonition 2. This game existing is just incredible to me. I don't know why it exists in a way. Somehow they did it. I think Nintendo helped fund this game in some way because it's an exclusive to the Switch, at least for now. And it's just kind of, I don't know who, like someone at Nintendo is like just such a huge Deadly Premonition fan. Even it wasn't published by Nintendo. It was only published by them in Australia, but someone at Nintendo must be like a huge Deadly Premonition fan. They're like, we got to get this. We got to get a sequel. We got to get a sequel. And I commend them. I'm looking forward to playing this one big time though. Definitely high on my list, but things have been a little busy. Disgaea 5 Complete. I tried this one a little bit. This was a pretty early release in the Switch, so I was just kind of desperate to play anything on it. And I'd heard good things about the series. I tried a little bit, and I just couldn't get into it. I don't know what it was. I know Disgaea 6 is coming out as like a Switch exclusive, so at least timed exclusive, so that's cool. So I know there's a big fan base for those games. I just couldn't get into it myself. Dragon Quest XI-S. So I started this one. I played a good few hours into it. And I enjoyed it, but I was like, I can't right now. I can't. This game is too long. I don't have the time to commit to this game right now. And I hadn't picked it up since. I did like it. I do want to go back to it and play it again. But that's just, a thing for the future. Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD Remaster. I really like Final Fantasy X. It's not my favorite Final Fantasy. It was the first one I ever played, though, so that might be why I have a soft spot for it. But I really like the combat. I think that's one of the better turn-based combat systems in any kind of JRPG. I think it's a really great game. I like the cast. I like the music and everything. And it still holds up great. I highly recommend it. I never played 10-2, so maybe I'll get around to it on here. But I didn't play Final Fantasy X until the PS3 version, the PS3 HD remaster. I just figured, yeah, it'd be good to have it on Switch, and it seems like a good port. I played a good amount of it. I don't think you're gonna have any problems with it. I played a little bit. I wouldn't say a good amount of it. I played enough. I'd like to replay it all the way through it at some point again, but too many games, too little time, I guess. Fire Emblem Warriors. This is a Musou game, another Koei Tecmo Nintendo game. It is a Musou game with Fire Emblem. I feel like this game is kind of gone forgotten as far as Switch games go, but I thought it was at least interesting. I'm not huge on Musous, but I thought it was at the very least interesting enough game. They added some kind of really distinctly Fire Emblem aspects to the formula that I thought was really cool. So I commend them on that one. The newest release I have so far in here, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I haven't played too much of it yet because it just came out and I've been playing some other stuff on PS5. But seems cool, seems interesting. It kind of makes me want that Switch, that rumored Switch Pro, that enhanced Switch Pro. Maybe we'll have it by this video next year. Because it doesn't run amazingly, but it's still pretty solid. And I'm excited to see the story more than anything. I'm looking forward to see what that's going to be, how that's going to go. And we got the original Hyrule Warriors, the definitive edition. I picked this one up just like because I want to have all the Zelda games as a collector, but also I would like to try this one out at some point and play it, because I played the first Hyrule Warriors on Wii U, but I never played any of the DLC, and I never played... I got the 3DS version and messed around with it, but I never got to like that new content. So I don't, I've never got any of the Wind Waker content or anything like that. So I would like to get into it at some point, but LA Noire. So I really like this game. I think this is like my favorite game out of Rockstar, and they didn't even develop it. They just published it. But I think this game's really cool. I don't know. I really liked this one. I really like mystery games and narrative games like that. And it's a little goofy with their weird, with the weird facial animations and everything. But I really liked this game. I thought it was good, and the Switch port is pretty solid. So I'd say I'd give it a recommendation. You can get that for pretty cheap nowadays. Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3. I played through the first Trails of Cold Steel, and I really enjoyed it. And I played through about 20 hours of the second one, and then I just completely, or probably about 15 to 20. And I completely fell off of it because something else came out at that time. So I got to go back and play that one. But I wanted to grab this. I got it on sale, and I just wanted to have it for when, inevitably I get around to it. Because I don't know. If something with a lot of these JRPGs, I just kind of grab them. And more niche games, I just kind of grab them when they come out. Just so I can have them, before they go out of print and become kind of hard to get. So looking forward to playing that one. But I got to get back and play through what I got to 2 and then play that game. But I definitely recommend this series. It's really cool. It's a shame that the first 2 aren't on Switch yet, but I think they're being ported, at least in Japan. Don't quote me on that. But this is like a really cool... There's definitely some budget aspects to it, but it has like pretty great story and lore. And it's all around is really interesting game. The world building is pretty incredible. Sorry about that. World building's pretty incredible. It's really impressive game for what you can see what they're working with. So I'd recommend them. They're all on PS4 now. I think the 4th one's coming out soon, if it's not already out. But recommend this series. It's really good. It's a Nihon Falcom title, which they also do Ease. So the art style might be a little bit similar. But yeah, they're kind of like the unsung heroes of JRPGs in a way. They've been around longer. They've been around since early 80s and still going strong on their series, and they have a really interesting history. And yeah, they've never really hit it big, which is kind of sad. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. There's nothing I can say about this game that's not already been said, but it's fantastic. It's just a lot of fun. I love how it rewards you for playing, and it rewards you for exploring, and it's really fascinating. It looks great. Really excited for the sequel. I want to play through Breath of the Wild again before the sequel comes out. So looking forward to that, but really great game. I mean, if you have a Switch, you have the game. If you don't, I don't know what you're doing. So I can't say much more. I'd rather spend more time highlighting more underrated games. Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. This is another situation where it feels like maybe $60 is a little bit too steep on this. I mean, it's just a remake of a Game Boy game. But that said, I really enjoyed it. the studio who developed it, Grezzo, did like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask 3D. So they've become a pretty prominent force with Nintendo, like a partner with Nintendo in developing these kind of remastered games. And I hope they continue to do that going forward. This is great. I mean, you can argue about the price, which I think is valid, but this is a great game. I think it's fantastic. I think the art style is really cute. It's really charming. It looks great. Link's Awakening I think it's a good game. It's a little bit obtuse. It's a little bit kind of hard to figure out what you're supposed to do, but I really enjoyed it. I think it's fantastic. This was my first time playing through this game. I never played through it all the way. I messed around with it on Game Boy, but I'm not a huge fan of playing Game Boy, original hardware stuff. So really enjoyed my time with that one. Luigi's Mansion 3. This is another, situation. I feel like Nintendo partnered with Next Level Games here, who've done Punch-Out for Wii, Luigi's Mansion 2, Metroid Prime Federation Force, and I think Mario, the soccer game, Mario Strikers on the Wii. And they're a really talented studio. They're in Vancouver, I believe. They're really talented. I think Nintendo should definitely work with them more, because this game really showed that they really have a lot of potential to really do great stuff. This is one of the better looking Switch games. I mean, the animations on Luigi are really emotive and really good. The lighting's really good. The level design is fantastic. This game's really great. I feel like, it's a first party Nintendo game, but I feel this is a top 5 Switch game for me. And I really feel like it's kind of went under the radar in a lot of ways. It sold really well, so I guess I can't say that, but I really think Luigi's Mansion 3 is great, and highly recommend it if you don't already haven't played it. Here's a fun one. I really like this one. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. When I first saw that this game leaked before it came out, because Ubisoft cannot put a game out without it leaking. I've never once been surprised by a Ubisoft announcement, because it always leaks beforehand. But this game's really a lot of fun. It's like a strategy game with Mario characters, and then the Rabbids dressed as Mario characters. I never really cared for the Rabbids, but they're kind of toned back here. They always kind of struck me as miniony, which I never liked, but they're definitely toned back here and a lot more tolerable. And overall, I think this is a fun game. And unlike a lot of games on the Switch, because since this is published by Ubisoft and not published by Nintendo, this game actually goes on sale pretty frequently. So you can have this game for like $15-20 pretty frequently on the eShop or, in stores or whatever. So that's really cool. And I'm kind of glad that Ubisoft published it and not Nintendo, because Nintendo, not very good with sales. Mario Tennis Aces. I feel like this game's a little bit of a letdown. People were really being like, oh, this game's going to be great. It has a story mode. It's so much better than the Mario Tennis Ultra Smash on Wii U, which had like one stage and was just bad. But I really feel like this still is probably not worth $60 and still does not have the content that probably should be there. The story mode was just kind of subpar. It wasn't very interesting. Like, the stuff they had you do wasn't very interesting. And it's definitely a step up, but I really don't feel like it's that great of a game. I'd probably pick something else if you're looking for a game recommendation. I wish they'd do another Mario Golf game instead, or do, because I feel like golf just has more you can do with it in a video game than tennis. Tennis, you're essentially just playing Pong. So I wish they were they do another Strikers or another baseball even. They keep doing tennis. Tennis is like the only one that hasn't missed in a while. And I don't know why. They haven't had, Mario Golf since 3DS. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This game is a lot of fun. This is my favorite Mario Kart, I would say. I just think it's great. Nintendo's made so much money off this game. Because it sold well on Wii U, even if the Wii U didn't do so well. And now it's sold, it's the best-selling game on the Switch with really no major updates to this game. So definitely, they're making so much money off a game they released in 2014. Even now, it's kind of hilarious. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. This is also another one developed by Team Ninja, which is a Koei Tecmo studio. And the existence of this game is kind of weird. It's developed by Koei Tecmo, who's not owned by Nintendo. It's published by Nintendo, so it really it's exclusive to the Switch. But I really liked this one. I had a lot of fun with it. It's not, you're not going to get, more like Insomniac Spider-Man, or you're not going to get the Crystal Dynamics Avengers game out of it. in terms of story or in terms of gameplay. It's kind of a simple, beat 'em up type game, but it's a lot of fun. And recommend it if you really like Marvel. They got some like a pretty big cast of characters, and I enjoyed my time with it. Good time. Got here Mega Man 11, and Mega Man 11 I liked it to an extent. I feel like it's weaker than a lot of other Mega Man games. I feel like the only games that are really worse than it are like 1 and 7 and 8. It's good. I don't really like that mechanic, that whatever the gear mechanic was. And I don't really find a lot of it too memorable. I really liked the art style. They did a really nice, like 2.5D almost art style. And it looks good. I really enjoyed that. It looks nice, but it's good. You can get it for cheap now. I'd recommend it, especially if you like Mega Man like I do. But I wouldn't say it's a disappointment. I just feel like, I'm whelmed, I guess. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not underwhelmed. I'm whelmed. It was good. It was good enough. It was what it needed to be after we hadn't had a Mega Man game since, Mega Man 10. I got here some Mega Man collections. Legacy Collection 1 and 2. This one's pretty good. Has all the classic games 1 through 8. It's a good time. It's a pain. I don't know why they made it. Legacy Collection 1 is on the cartridge and 2 is on a slip, but Capcom always got to be Capcom, I guess. This one's even more baffling because they never released X and X2 Legacy Collection separately, except for like on the eShop. But yeah, so X Collection 1 is on the cartridge. X Collection 2 is on a code that you have to download. Really stupid. I don't think you're going to probably be wanting to play X Legacy Collection 2 as much, but really dumb. And then this one I haven't played too much of yet, but I've never played any of these games before, so I'd like to get in there and play these, the Zero and ZX collection. But I have not got to this one yet. This is another one I have not got to yet. I might just wait till this game goes on sale and keep this sealed, because I saw that this is pretty limited print run, and it's already kind of gone up in price. It's more than what I paid for it when I got it at Best Buy. But this is The Missing. I've heard really good things about this game. This is another game from Swery. This is new studio White Owls. I've heard a lot of good stuff about this game. It was published by Limited Run, but you could get it at like Best Buy. That's where I got my copy. But yeah, I think I might just, because I see it go on sale in the eShop for like $10. I might just keep that copy sealed because I see it going up in price already. It might be hard to come by. Another game from Limited Run that I picked up, Night Trap. I just found it funny that Howard Lincoln back in the day famously said that Night Trap will never be on a Nintendo system. He's not with Nintendo anymore, and it's now on a Nintendo system. I always thought that was funny. I don't know. Never got too much into the Limited Run thing, but every once in a while, one will interest me that pops up. I feel like they're barely even Limited Run games anymore. They're a publisher. You can get their games at Best Buy now, and a lot of those games aren't Limited Run, I gotta say. But really cool what they're doing. I really appreciate that. Octopath Traveler. I couldn't get into this one. I'm a huge JRPG fan. I really like Square Enix. The game's art style is incredible, but I just found the game boring. That's it. I didn't like, nothing about like the story or dialogue interested me. Nothing about the gameplay was really that unique to me. I don't know. I kind of was disappointed by this one. It's not bad by any means. I just couldn't get into it in any meaningful way. Paper Mario Origami King. I bought this one fully intending to play it, and then just never got around to it. It came out the same day as Ghosts of Tsushima, which I really got into, and then I just never played this one. I've heard better things than the Sticker Star and Color Splash, but I really do want to play this one, but it's probably top of the Switch backlog, that and Deadly Premonition 2. Another one that I bought intending to play, and then I got busy with schoolwork and never got to it, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I did want to get it just to, I had trade credit at GameStop. A lot of the games that I pick up that I haven't played yet, or just because I had a lot of trade credit for my garage selling stuff at GameStop, so I figure I'll just grab this. Pikmin 3 on Wii U is fantastic, and I wanted to play through it again, and so, the Switch port's great. Looking forward to play that one, but I would recommend it by how good Pikmin 3 on Wii U was. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. I actually really like the Let's Go games. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like an unironic Gen 1er. I have no idea. But I really liked the Let's Go games. I thought they were pretty fun. I liked the just one-handed Joy-Con play. I thought that was kind of just convenient. I don't know. I thought it was fun. I I think I honestly liked it better than the next game here, which I got the dual pack for, honestly, actually. Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I don't think these games are bad by any means. I just feel like for the first real Pokemon console outing, these games should have been a lot better. The whole, not the whole roster of Pokemon thing is definitely a problem. And I think that graphically these games look like 3DS games. And I don't know. I thought these games were fine. I thought they were enjoyable Pokemon games. But I think a lot of the problems that Pokemon fans have with Pokemon is the fact that they've grown out of Pokemon. I mean, there's a lot of people who, it's unfortunate. There's a lot of people who, only play Pokemon. They're in their 20s. They only play Pokemon. And I think they need to realize that Pokemon is not exactly intended for them as much as they wish it would be. Which I know is unfortunate because they're the people with money who are buying the games. But kids who want it for Christmas and are getting, their parents to buy it for them or also have the money too. And they're the ones who are watching the anime and buying the cards and everything as well. So maybe I'm off base with this. I'm not, too much in on Pokemon, but I feel like a lot of people really complain about Pokemon and I'm like, they're all kind of the same game. I don't really think, I like Sun and Moon quite a bit, but I don't know. It feels like maybe the reason a lot of people are getting mad, like genuinely mad about Pokemon is that it's just not for them anymore. And they just don't want to accept that. I don't know. I don't mean that in like a mean way either. I just kind of an observation. Ring Fit Adventure. This game was just really neat. I really liked the concept. I wasn't expecting it. It really actually gets you working out. I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh, this will be like Wii Fit where you do some fun mini games, mess around. But no, this doesn't pull any punches. Definitely a really cool concept. Definitely really a cool idea of an RPG fitness game. And I think it's executed really well. Really interesting. And obviously selling very well. So that's cool to see. South Park, The Fractured Butthole. This game's pretty good. I didn't play the first South Park game, and I have no real affinity to South Park. I'm not sure I've ever watched a full episode. I've just seen clips. But this game's actually genuinely solid RPG. It's funny. It's good. I really like this game. You can get this one as well because every Western developed third-party game for any system always ends up dropping down ridiculously cheap. So yeah, you can get this one as well. I think it's a good game. And they put the first game, I'd like to go back to the first game at some point. They put it on modern consoles. And I'd like to play that one. But I recommend this one. Pretty good. And this is coming from someone who's never really gotten into South Park. I thought it was funny. I thought it was enjoyable. Had a good time with it. Splatoon 2. Splatoon 2, I think, is the biggest disappointment, or one of the biggest disappointments for me on the system. And I think it's a good game. I just think it's just completely ruined by how awful the online is for the Switch. I remember I was trying to get back into the game because I played it a lot at launch and I had fun with it, kind of minor annoyances. And a friend of mine and I were trying to get back into the game and play it more. And we were playing, online, and the online's bad. There's no really great way to play. The online's just kind of bad. And every time we got into a game, there would always be, at least on one of our teams, a disconnect. There'd always be a disconnect. So it would be unfair from the get-go. We're going, one team of 3, one team of 4. Someone would always disconnect. It was so annoying. Every single game for like several nights that we played the game. And it's just like not good. I know Nintendo is kind of like, oh, well, don't expect as much from our online because it's cheaper. But it's like, come on, guys. You've been doing online since 2006 with the Wii. And you still don't have a good of a handle of it. So frustrating. It's a good game otherwise. I really think so. I really think that the single player was great. I never played the Octo expansion. I heard that was great as well, but I never got to it. Yeah, it's a great game otherwise, but it's just like they just dropped the ball so badly with the online play. I just think it's so poor. And a lot of the meta, I'm playing a game for children essentially, so I can't complain too much about the meta. But so many people just don't know how to play the game. They're out there trying to get kills, and it's not the point. No one inks the spawn. No one does anything. Just people, that bothers me too, but that's not the game's fault. It's, the fact that I'm playing a game for children as a grown man, because I have no control of my life anymore. Starlink Battle for Atlas. I got this one. I thought the Star Fox, the R-Wing figure was cool. I got this for, I think, $8 on Black Friday. This was a Toys for Life game that the Switch version included Star Fox content. This game bombed pretty horribly, so I don't think we're going to see much more, but the R-Wing figure that the Switch version comes with was cool, so I figured I'd pick up the game for $8. Maybe one day I'll try out the game. Streets of Rage 4, really cool game. I really like the classic Streets of Rage games, and this definitely falls in line with what a modern one would be. It's certainly a pretty solid beat 'em up. I didn't play all the way through because I'm kind of bad at beat 'em ups, and it comes to a point where I'm just like, but I really appreciate this game, and I really like what that .emu team is doing. They must have something with Sega going on, because they're doing all these classic games. They did like, what's it called? Wonder Boy and all that. Cool stuff. Got here a launch game, Super Bomberman R. I feel like probably the only reason that people would buy this game is because it's a launch game. It's a standard Bomberman game. It came out at $50, which is a bit pricey, but at launch, I'm here to buy anything that looks remotely good. And I really like Bomberman. I think it's fun. I really like the character. I feel like he has, potential to be a mascot that just no one's done anything with. And that's kind of sad. Also, I love this Bomberman 33rd anniversary. You got to put that on the cover. I think this cover is great, by the way. I think the cover might be one of the best parts of the game. The cover is awesome, but I love Bomberman 33rd anniversary. I don't know why we're celebrating 33rd, but all right. Super Mario 3D All-Stars. This is a good collection. I mean, it's cool how well these games hold up, especially Mario Sunshine and Mario Galaxy both look really solid. And besides some maybe somewhat simple geometry, they look almost like modern games with just how well they hold up. I played all the way through Super Mario Galaxy on this. That's the only one I played all the way through so far. And that game's really great. It was the first time I played all the way through it since like 2008. So it was almost like a new experience for me. Really great stuff. You can complain, and I think it's justified, that these are essentially just a round dump for $60, but the way Nintendo's handling their legacy content's just so bad. But I mean, we're all willing to buy it anyway, so I suppose why would they ever bother changing? Kind of a doomed outlook, but Super Mario Maker 2, I got this one with trade credit. It was on sale at GameStop for $40, and I had trade credit. I haven't gotten around to it yet. I'd like to play. I think there's a story mode that people liked with, Nintendo-made levels. I wasn't huge on the first Mario Maker because I just don't really care about making levels. And a lot of the levels that people were making were downright awful. But I'd still like to play, 2D Mario and maybe see what's on there that's at least worth trying out. Because I played a fair amount of Mario Maker original just to kind of, see what's out there. Super Mario Odyssey. This is one of my favorite games ever. It's my top 10 favorite games of all time. This game's just a blast. I think it might be the most fun game like I've ever played, really. I mean, it's just a blast. It's just fun all the way through. It looks great. The music's great. Mario controls, amazingly. I really like, I know a lot of people don't like the kind of more low effort stars or moons, as they call them in this game, where they're just kind of everywhere. But it reminds me a lot like Banjo-Kazooie, so I really liked it. Yeah, Mario Odyssey. That's a must play. It's another game. If you don't have it on your Switch, I don't know what you're doing. Super Mario Party. This game is good in theory. It's good. It's fine for a Mario Party game. After Mario Party 9 and 10, I think a lot of people were willing to accept this one because it's not horrible like those games are. But, it's still not as good as, classic Mario Party. And I think it all just comes down to board design. The board design, I think, is really poor in this game. The maps are just so, like squished together, and it's not great, but definitely worthwhile game. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, fantastic. The game's roster is incredible. The music library is unbelievable. Just such a great game. And, the DLC characters, they've been hitting them out of the park for the most part. I wasn't really thrilled with like Steve, but, other than that, I really feel like they've been doing great with all that. I think this game's awesome. It's just great. I didn't really like the World of Light single player, but I really liked like the Spirits mode where you collect the little pictures. I don't know. So Sushi Striker, I got this game. This was published by Nintendo. It was developed by Indie Zero, I believe, who is a Japanese studio. They did like Theater Rhythm, Final Fantasy, and those games. And this is like a puzzle game. I've heard good things about it. I got it really cheap, and I would like to give it a go, but I just haven't. One of my favorite Wii U games, and a really great port. I played all the way through this version. I again because I just really like this game. I played through it on Wii U and I played through it on this version. I don't know why I like this game so much. I think it all comes down to the combat, which I think is some of the most enjoyable and just fun, turn-based combat in any JRPG. I just think it's great. I mean, the story of this game is not much. It's not much. It's charming. It's cute. It's fine. But I really think that the combat's just stellar. If you don't know what this is a crossover between... This was originally Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, which was teased and then just went silent for a few years. And when it came back, everyone's like, oh, it's a weeaboo game. And what this game is a lot like is like Persona, but the Personas are Fire Emblem characters. Really interesting concept. It's really fun. It's really good. I really like it. I think it got overlooked, and I would highly recommend it if you like. If any of that sounds interesting, if you like JRPGs in any way, highly recommend it. There's another one I haven't got to yet. I got this for like $15. I'm working my way through. I just replayed No More Heroes 1, the Switch version, and I never played all the way through No More Heroes 2. So this one, definitely I'm going to play this one before 3, but got to work my way through them. But I got that real cheap, so I figured I should probably go for it. Another game I like, I'm going to keep this one sealed because I got this one. I already played through this game on Vita. I just wanted to have a physical copy of it. Everyone knows Undertale. I really like this game. I think it's really, really interesting. I really like the soundtrack. I don't know. Definitely a very memorable game. Here's another game I think is criminally overlooked and I think is excellent. Valkyria Chronicles. This whole series is excellent and it's criminally underlooked. So really with Valkyria Chronicles, you can skip 2 and 3. 3 never even came over here, but on the Switch are both Valkyria Chronicles 1 and 4. And the stories aren't really connected, so you can go into either of them. And they're both stellar. Some of the best. They're strategy RPGs, and they're so good. Just so good. Definitely recommend either one of these games. They're both about really the same, and they're both just solid. And I think you can get both of them for pretty cheap on the eShop. And you also get this cute little dog Joy-Con grip thing that I never used. But highly, highly recommended on these ones. These ones are great. Valkyria Chronicles 2 and 3, they kind of went a different path. Like I said, we never even got 3 over here. Don't need to worry about that too much. You can play 1 and 4 and have a perfectly fine understanding. That was my chair, by the way. That was not me farting. I know, because people comment when I sit on this chair and it creaks. Everyone, oh, you fart? No, I did not fart. I'm not a degenerate. I'm not going to fart on camera. That's for the OnlyFans. World Ends With You Final Remix. This one's still sealed, but I'm going to actually play this one pretty soon because I'd like to play this before the sequel. I know this version adds new content as well that's going to tie into the sequel, so I'd like to play this real soon. Getting close to the end here. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, another really just excellent RPG. Xenoblade Chronicles, the original game, I played through it on Wii. I played a good amount of this one, but I never finished the Definitive Edition, but I played the game on Wii, so it has some problems, especially on Wii. It was a hideous game, and it was really held back by the Wii, and it's really nice to be able to see this game not being held back by its hardware finally, because it was also on the new 3DS, and it was it's somehow even more hideous in the Wii version. Looked like dog turd, but this game looks nice. It would have been nice if it was 1080p, not 720p, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's a great game. I don't like the battle UI. I think that's a bit annoying, and I think they fixed it in the sequel. But other than that, highly recommended. Excellent RPG. And I got Xenoblade Chronicles 2 here as well. It's in the Steelbook case. People might not like my opinions on this one. I think this is a fine game. I think it's a good game, but I feel like it's a big step down from the original game. I think the story, they kind of went too much, and I like anime tropes in games. I think it's endearing, but they went way too anime with this game where it really didn't need to be there. I feel like the weird blade thing where you had all these different blades and they're all by different, all different art styles by different artists is kind of a mess. It's cool in theory, but it's just kind of a disaster because it doesn't really work. And there's some problems with it. I think it's good. I don't want to, I don't hate it or anything. I think it's a good game. But it has a lot of things that bother me, and over time, I just kind of feel more and more. The voice cast is horrible. And I like English dubs. I don't know why, but the voice cast on this the dub is awful, too. Ugh. I like it. I don't get me wrong. It feels like a big step down from the first game. Yoshi's Crafted World. I don't really think this one was that great. I think it was just like, I'm too old for this. It's simple, it's easy, but I really liked Woolly World. I thought that game was great. So I don't know. This one felt like a little bit of a letdown. It's not bad by any means. I feel if you had like kids or someone who's not really very good at gaming, like a significant other or something, that would be a good game to play with them, multiplayer. But if you're going to just sit here by yourself and in the dark and play Yoshi's Crafted World with its kind of annoying music, and I would probably pick a different game. And then finally, this is out alphabetical order. I don't know why. Wonderful 101 Remastered. I was Kickstarter backer on this, so I got this lenticular cover. It's pretty cool. Wonderful 101 is really cool. Wii U game that didn't get a chance, and again, didn't get a snowball's chance being on the Wii U. And I don't think it's really doing too well on the Switch and PS4 either. But I recommend it. It's interesting. It's really fun. It's really unique. And Platinum Games, is really talented. So they make solid games. But that's it. That is it for this collection video. It's a long one, I know, but I hope everyone enjoyed. Once again, leave the comments down below in the recommendations. If you want to join the ranks of Sweary and follow me on Twitter, my Twitter is ObjoGaming. You leave a like if you've enjoyed, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit that bell. I know people say that. I don't really care about the bell. I'll see you next time.